This is our no-knead dough after 6 hours of mixing 3 cups of flour, 1.5 cups of water, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of yeast. You stir it, you cover it. It can sit 3 hours, it can sit 6 hours, it can sit overnight, or it can sit for 24 hours, and it'll be ready to use for bread. Today we're making English muffins, so when you remove the plastic, you just turn the dough over with your hands. An important step here is to wet your hands with some water so that the dough is not too sticky. And you can see I'm shaping the dough into little rounds and putting them on a floured surface. That's important. Some people use cornmeal for their English muffins. You can put cornmeal on your cookie sheet if you want to, with your paper down, and add that if you want. You just continue to shape your little rounds and flip them into the dough, and keep getting your hands wet. So once you have all your rounds ready, you have your skillet with the lid on. It's on a 3. I have an electric stove. I turn it on 3. I let it get nice and hot while I'm shaping my rounds, and I keep the lid on. There's no oil in the pan. You just lay those rounds on that hot skillet. Be careful not to burn yourself. Now, baking time in the skillet with the lid on varies. Some recipes say do 5 minutes. I usually have pretty good luck with 6 minutes if the dough is not too wet. This particular dough is pretty wet today, so I did 6 minutes on each side. I always set my timer because I could step away and forget about them. But you do that and you wait 6 minutes. It wasn't long enough for these, so I did 7 minutes. And what you'll see, you're going to see them flip here in a minute, but you just watch and make sure the bottoms don't burn. If your pan's too hot, it'll burn. So you just want to keep an eye on them and see how they're going to bake up in the skillet. And once you get your first bake, you flip them over. Getting ready to flip them here. There's moisture that comes to the top. Always take a dish towel and wipe that off. You don't want the moisture to drip down on your English muffins. So you're just going to flip them over. You can see they're a little bit brown on the outside. Not overly brown. They could have used another minute. Now, on the edges of those, I don't mash them. I just gently tap them. On those edges, if they look wet, they probably are not done yet. So if you've gone 6 minutes and the edges still look kind of damp and wet, go ahead and leave them in there another minute. If they look nice and crusty, like a outer coating of a biscuit, then they're ready to flip. So it takes practice. It took me, I don't know how many times to make these before I made them the correct way. But it doesn't, it's not hard. It's just a process. And that is what those beauties look like. So when they're done and they've cooled for a couple of minutes, you're going to take a fork and you're going to press in the middle all the way around on that English muffin. And that way you've got your nice little opening ready to put in the toaster the next day. So I just put these in a plastic bag and store them until I'm ready to use them throughout the week. And they freeze really well. You can put them in the freezer too. But you just take that fork all the way around the edge and just poke all the way through. And you can see I could have baked them a little bit longer. You can see how wet the dough is. And you flip it open, and there you have your little nooks and crannies in your English muffin. Yep, you can use your no-knead dough recipe for English muffins. How about that? You have a great day. Hope you enjoy the recipe.